Hello guys, today we're doing question 56 of LeetCode, merge intervals. This is a medium question. Question is, given an array of intervals where intervals I is equals to start I and end I, merge all overlapping intervals and return an array of the non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. Example 1. Input intervals is equal to an array of arrays 1, 3, array 2, 6, array 8, 10, and array 15 and 18. The output is 1, 6, 8, 10, 15, and 18. Reason being is the intervals 1, 3, and 2, 6 overlap because 3 is about bigger than 2, 2 is bigger than 3. So you merge them into 1 and 6. Example 2, input intervals is 1, 4, 4, 5. The output is 1, 5. Explanation intervals 1, 4, and 4, 5 are considered overlapping because 4 is the same number, so you can continue from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the way we'll do this is by sorting each of the arrays by the first digit in size order from smallest to largest. This way we know that they're all sorted because we don't know for sure now that they're sorted, and they won't be in other tests. So we'll sort them, then we'll check if the current start is smaller than the end. So sorry, if the current interval start is smaller than the previous interval's end. If it is, then we merge them and we proceed to the next value. So let me show you how we would do it. Okay, so here we have an array. The array is already sorted, but let's say it wasn't sorted and we had 15 and 18 instead of 10 and 12 here or something like that. So now this one is bigger than this one, so we would sort it and switch these around, so it would go back to being sorted. That's the first step, is sorting it. Next, we initiate an array to store the sorted array, which for now is empty. And as we're going to check the previous value at the current value, so let's say I is 1, we check the previous value to compare to see if this overlaps. As we'll be doing that, we can't initiate I from 0, as position 0 can't check the previous value. So what we'll do is we'll push the first value of the sorted array into the new array. So we'll push 1 and 3 here, 1 and 3. Okay, then we'll loop through the rest of the array starting from 1. So we'll go from I is equal to 1 all the way until it's at the end. So the length minus 1. So we're I equals 1 here. So we check, is the current start smaller than the current end? Yes, it is. So what I mean is we'll get let me be more explicit. So we'll get the start and end variable from that array by saying let start and end is equal to that value, and then we'll get the previous start and previous end by getting the value minus 1, so the previous value. So let's save those variables here. We only need the start and the previous end, so we'll have start here, start and previous end. So we'll check, is the current start smaller than or equal to the previous end? So current start is 2 and the previous end is 3. So yes, it is. In that case, we push, if they are, we set the end value of the array, so last value of the current array here, this one, to the minimum of the current start and the previous start and the maximum of the current and the previous end. So let's set those variables as well. So end and previous end, previous start. So the end is now equal to 6 and the previous start is equal to 1. So we set the minimum and the maximum of those. So we'll set this value here as the minimum, which is 1, and the maximum of the end, which is 6. So now that is the merged array. Okay, now we proceed. I is now 2 So now we are here, 8 and 10. So the start is 8, the end is 10, previous end is 6, and previous start is 2. Is the current start, so 8, smaller than or equal to 6? No. So we proceed, and we first, before proceeding, we push that value into the array. So we push 8 and 10 into the array. Now we proceed. I is 3. Let's remove the circle. I is 3 here. We are now at 15 and 18. Again, we get the variables. So the current start is 15. Current end is 18. Previous end is 10. Previous start is 8. Is the current start 15 smaller than or equal to 10? No. So then we push that into the array. We push that value into the array without changing or merging. So let's delete all these, create space. 15, 18. Ooh. 15, 18. And now we finish the I loop. This is the array we return. As you can see, the first two here have been merged. Then we return the last two as they are, don't overlap. So that's what we'll be solving it. Let me show you the code. Okay, the way we do this is by first sorting the array. So, okay, intervals dot sort, and we sort it by the first value within the arrays. So we'll get A and B value, and for each values, we'll compare first value. This should make the array smallest to largest. Now we create a new array with sorted to store the new sorted array, including the merged values, and we'll push the first interval value that is after being sorted into the sorted array. The reason being is that we're going to start the for loop, and for each loop check the previous value. If we start from the first value of the array, so 0, there will be no previous value and will cause errors. So if we push the first value at the beginning, we can start from 1 and we'll have a previous value. Then we loop until intervals.length is -1. No, until smaller than intervals.length. So when it gets intervals.length, we stop because we've looped the whole array. Then we increment. Now we have to get the start value and the end value of the current array in intervals, and we get the previous as well from the previous array. So like previous start and the previous end is equal to intervals I -1. Now we compare the start and see if it's smaller than or equal to the previous end. If it is, we know the overlap, as you can see here. So if 2 is smaller than 3, the array is already sorted by the way, then we know that they overlap, and that's why they're merged here, 1 and 6. So if they overlap, we get the value, so sorted, we get the position, so sorted.length -1, and then we set it to, so sorted.length -1. Okay. Oh, this is not. This is sorted. Okay, sorted.length -1. This gets the last value. So once you've pushed it into the array, rather than because we might have merged it. If that makes sense. If we've merged it, then if we get the last value of intervals, it won't show the merge value. Okay, so we set this, so sorted.length, we set it to first. The first value will be an array, we set it to an array of the first value being the previous start. As I sorted in size order, when the previous start will be smaller than the current start. And then we set the end to the max between the current end, and the previous end. Else, if they don't overlap, we can just push it into the array. There's no changes that will have to be made. So sorted.push intervals I, and then we return the sorted array. Well, let's see if that passes. Sorted.push intervals 0. Okay, intervals. Let's see if that passes. It does. Let's submit. Perfect. As you can see, this is around average runtime complexity for this solution. Or it's on a better half, to be honest, but as you can see, one of the most common ones. The time complexity of this is ON for this and log n for sorting. So that will make it ON log n. And the space complexity for this, worst case, will be ON as well. As if they don't ever overlap, worst case scenario, we're storing all of the array here. Thanks for watching.